Before the world was carved into mountains and seas, before the sun sang its first song of light, God whispered truths into the folds of creation. Not all truths were meant to be worn like jewels upon the neck. Some were too vast, too fierce, too holy, and so the Almighty hid them. We walk through this life grasping for answers, aching for certainty. Yet wisdom, true wisdom, reminds us what God has concealed is not lost, but kept. Kept for our protection, kept for our growth, kept because mystery itself is a teacher. Tonight, I will speak of 5 things, 5 holy secrets God said must stay hidden. Listen with your ears, yes, but more than that. Listen with your spirit. For in what is hidden, there lies a power greater than gold, a wisdom deeper than oceans, and a light that no darkness can ever steal. And so, my beloved, if tomorrow is hidden, then let us not chase its shadow while neglecting today's light. Let us not stretch our hands toward what is veiled while leaving untouched the treasures that lie open before us. The wisdom of the hidden calls us to honor this breath, this hour, this step. It asks us to walk as though the soil beneath our feet is sacred, as though the faces before our eyes are priceless, as though the words upon our tongues carry the weight of eternity. For they do. They always have. They always will. The measure of tomorrow is being stitched right now, in the seams of today's choices. Every kindness becomes a thread, every cruelty becomes a tear, every act of courage becomes a knot that holds the fabric together. When tomorrow comes, it will not arrive empty. It will come clothed in the garment we have woven with our own hands. Some garments will be tattered, some will be radiant, but all will bear the mark of what we chose to do with this hidden gift of today. Even silence has its place in this sacred weaving. The silence of reflection, the silence of awe, the silence of listening. These moments too are powerful threads, pulling tomorrow toward us with quiet strength. For not all wisdom is spoken, not all power is loud. Some of the mightiest works are hidden in silence, in stillness, in the quiet shaping of the unseen. So let the hiddenness not frighten you. Let it steady you. Let it remind you that life is not meant to be rushed, that wisdom is not meant to be stolen, that glory is not meant to be seized. Life is meant to be honored, wisdom is meant to be received, glory is meant to be grown into slowly, day by day. The hiddenness guards the sanctity of that process, shielding us from the danger of our own haste. Holding back tomorrow until our hands are strong enough to hold it, until our hearts are wide enough to embrace it, until our spirits are deep enough to understand it. The depth of a soul cannot be weighed by eyes alone. You may look upon a person and see their stature, their stride, the clothes that wrap their frame, the color of their skin, the lines upon their face. You may hear their voice, loud or trembling, smooth or rough, and you may believe you know them. But beloved, the soul is not a surface. The soul is a sea, and no eye, no glance, no fleeting observation can measure how far its waters stretch, how deep its currents run, how many treasures or tempests lie beneath its surface. We live in a world too eager to measure one another by what is seen, too eager to weigh worth by wealth, to judge character by circumstance, to crown or to condemn on the basis of a fleeting image. But the eyes are limited. They see skin, not story. They see posture, not perseverance. They see smile, not suffering. They see the fruit that hangs on the branch, but they do not see the root that fought through stone and darkness to drink from hidden waters. The soul is hidden, and in that hiddenness lies its strength. For if the soul were as plain as the palm of a hand, if its depths were as easy to read as a headline, then love would lose its wonder. Compassion would lose its urgency. Mystery would be stripped of its power. But the soul hides itself, veils itself, conceals its storms and its sanctuaries. And only those who dare to look deeper, only those who choose to listen longer, only those who humble themselves enough to feel rather than judge, may glimpse its depth. Consider the ocean. Stand upon its shore and you will see only waves dancing, light shimmering, foam scattering across the sand. Beautiful, yes, but shallow in comparison to the miles of mystery below. Ships have sailed its surface for centuries, but only those who dared dive beneath, only those who built vessels strong enough to descend, discovered the vast kingdoms hidden there. Mountains rising from the ocean floor, valleys deeper than any canyon, creatures luminous and strange. So it is with the soul. You cannot know its weight by standing at its shore. You must dive, you must risk, you must be willing to sink below appearances and search with reverence. And let me tell you, beloved, that the shallowest glance has deceived many. Greatness has walked among us clothed in rags. Wisdom has spoken through voices dismissed as unworthy. Strength has dwelt in bodies thought fragile. The eyes saw one thing, but the soul carried another. The eyes measured the surface, but the truth was hidden in the depth. The depth of a soul cannot be weighed by eyes alone, for eyes are too quick to decide, too eager to categorize, too bound to what glitters and what fades. But the soul, the soul is boundless, eternal, unmeasured by the scale of the visible. Even the smallest among us carries an ocean within. A child with hands no larger than a sparrow may hold more kindness in her soul than a king with crowns upon his head. A woman whose voice is seldom heard may carry songs that could heal nations. A man whose steps falter from age may still walk with a wisdom that steadies the whole world. Do not be fooled by what your eyes tell you. Do not be seduced by what is seen. For the weight of a soul, its true worth, its real depth, lies in the invisible, in the silence, in the hidden places the eyes can never reach. The eyes may say, "This one is weak," but the soul may be strong, strong enough to rise from ashes, strong enough to endure storms that would break another. The eyes may say, "This one is unworthy," but the soul may shine with dignity so radiant that heaven itself bows. The eyes may say, "This one is ordinary," but within that soul burns a fire that could set generations alight. The eyes cannot be trusted to tell the whole story, for the story is deeper, older, richer than sight alone can reveal. The soul is the keeper of secrets, sorrows hidden behind smiles, courage wrapped in silence, dreams tucked away in the quiet corners of the heart. A soul may walk through a crowd unnoticed, carrying battles it has fought and victories it has won without ever speaking them aloud. A soul may carry wounds invisible to the eye yet heavy enough to bend the spine. A soul may carry love so vast that it spills out in every gesture, though the eyes of others never recognize its source. Oh, beloved, how shallow we become when we measure one another by sight alone. We point at garments and think we know wealth. We hear accents and think we know wisdom. We see skin and think we know story. But the truth is hidden. The soul is hidden. And in that hiddenness lies a sacred invitation to listen, to learn, to love beyond what is seen. Imagine a seed in the soil. To the eye it is nothing more than a speck, perhaps even something to be brushed aside. But within that speck is the blueprint of a towering tree, roots that will crack stone, branches that will shelter generations, fruit that will feed the hungry. The eye cannot see it. Only time reveals it. Only patience unveils it. So it is with the soul. Its greatness, its depth, its eternal weight cannot be known at first glance. It must be honored, nurtured, given space to reveal itself. The soul speaks in languages the eyes do not understand. It speaks in the silence between words, in the stillness between breaths, in the tenderness of touch, in the music of compassion. The soul carries echoes of eternity, whispers of mysteries older than time. And when we reduce one another to what can be seen, we silence the song, we miss the echo. We overlook the treasure hidden beneath the surface. Beloved, I tell you, if you wish to know the depth of a soul, you must close your eyes. Yes, close them. For sight distracts, sight deceives, sight stops too soon. Close your eyes and listen, to the tone, to the pauses, to the unsaid words. Close your eyes and feel the presence, the energy, the weight that lingers when a person enters a room. Close your eyes and honor the possibility that within every soul, no matter how small, no matter how scarred, lies an ocean too vast for you to measure. For the soul is not a thing to be weighed. It is not a number, not a size, not a shape. It is a song, it is a storm, it is a sanctuary, and no eye has ever seen the full depth of another's soul. At best, we catch glimpses, like flashes of lightning in the dark, moments when truth slips through the veil, moments when light pours through the cracks. Those glimpses are holy. They are reminders that every human being is deeper than they appear, greater than they seem, stronger than the world has told them they are. If we were wise, we would treat every soul as sacred ground. We would step gently, speak carefully, listen reverently. For we cannot see the battles fought in the silence of the night, the tears shed where no one was watching, the prayers whispered into pillows, into hands, into darkness. We cannot see the scars that lie beneath the surface, scars that are not written on the skin but carved deep in the spirit. And because we cannot see them, we dare not judge, dare not diminish, dare not pretend we know the full measure of another. The eyes may delight in beauty, but beauty fades. The eyes may be drawn to strength, but strength weakens. The eyes may admire wealth, but wealth shifts like sand in the tide. But the soul, the soul endures. It carries beauty that does not wrinkle, strength that does not falter, wealth that cannot be stolen. The depth of a soul is not measured in years, not measured in possessions, not measured in applause. It is measured in love, in resilience, in faithfulness, in the quiet power to rise again when the world has pushed it down. And yet, how easily we forget, how quickly we decide, based on a glance, who is worthy of respect, who deserves kindness, who should be lifted up, and who may be left behind. But the hiddenness of the soul defies our arrogance. It reminds us that no human eye has the authority to define another's worth. No mirror, no photograph, no passing gaze can reveal the treasure that lies beneath. We are called, instead, to approach one another with humility, to admit that what we do not see may be greater than what we do. The ocean does not reveal its pearls to every passerby. The mountain does not offer its gems to every hand that strikes it. The soul too holds its riches close, waiting for those who come with patience, with reverence, with love. Only then does it open its vault, only then does it share its gold. And even then, the treasure is not exhausted, for the soul is infinite. The more you draw, the more remains. The deeper you go, the deeper it becomes. You cannot measure it. You can only honor it. Beloved, the depth of your soul is not determined by the eyes that look upon you. Some may call you small, but your soul may be vast. Some may call you weak, but your soul may be mighty. Some may overlook you altogether, but your soul may shine so fiercely that angels take notice. Never let the blindness of others convince you that your depth is shallow. The eyes of the world are poor judges. They have misjudged greatness again and again. They have walked past prophets, dismissed poets, silenced truth-tellers, crucified dreamers. But the soul cannot be destroyed by their blindness. Its depth remains hidden, waiting for its appointed time to rise. And if you doubt your own depth, if you wonder whether there is more to you than what can be seen, let me tell you now, you are more. You are more than your reflection in the mirror. You are more than the titles they gave you, or the names they denied you. You are more than the body that ages and the face that changes. You are a soul, a depth, an ocean, a universe. And though no eye can measure you, the truth of who you are shines still, hidden yet undeniable, veiled yet victorious. The eyes are hungry for certainty, always reaching for a quick answer, always chasing the surface of things. But the soul resists such hunger. The soul demands patience, demands silence, demands stillness. You cannot grasp a soul by staring harder, by squinting tighter. You can only know it by presence, by listening, by honoring the spaces where words do not live. The depth of a soul is not something to be captured. It is something to be encountered. Think of the night sky stretched wide above us. To the naked eye it is scattered with stars, points of light, tiny and fragile. But what the eyes cannot see is that each of those points is a furnace, a giant, a world of fire larger than we can imagine. The eyes cannot weigh their distance, cannot measure their power, cannot grasp the magnitude of what lies hidden in plain sight. And yet they shine. So too with the soul. It may appear small, ordinary, faint, but within it burns an immensity, a power, a radiance that cannot be diminished by the blindness of eyes. Too often, we forget that the soul is not bound to what the eye perceives. A body may be frail, yet the soul is fierce. A face may be lined with sorrow, yet the soul sings with joy. A voice may tremble, yet the soul roars with courage. The eyes alone will always fail us, for they are fooled by the external. But the heart, the spirit, the patient love that dares to see beyond appearances, these are the true instruments of vision. These are what reveal the hidden depths. And so, beloved, we must choose carefully how we see. Do we see with judgment, or do we see with reverence? Do we stop at the surface, or do we press deeper, listening for the currents that move beneath? For when we honor the depth of another's soul, we begin to honor our own. When we refuse to reduce another to appearances, we free ourselves from the shallow prison of appearances too. When we acknowledge the unseen in others, we awaken the unseen in ourselves. Even silence between two people can be sacred when it honors the depth of the soul. For words are often too small, too clumsy, to carry the weight of what lies within. A look, a pause, a moment of stillness may speak more truth than 1,000 sentences. The depth of the soul hides there, in the language beyond language, in the spaces where eyes fail and love begins to see. So let us not rush to weigh, not rush to measure, not rush to label. Let us sit with one another as we would sit beside a river, listening, watching, waiting. For the river tells its story not in a glance, but in its flow, in its persistence, in its patience. The soul, too, tells its story over time. It unfolds slowly, sometimes painfully, sometimes beautifully, always deeply. And only those who are willing to wait will come to know it. And so, beloved, remember this: the soul is a sacred mystery. It cannot be weighed, it cannot be labeled, it cannot be fully known by any eye. But it can be honored, it can be nurtured, it can be revered. And when we choose to honor the depth of another, we are also honoring the depth within ourselves. The eyes will continue to deceive. The world will continue to judge by appearances. But we, who have learned the power of looking deeper, who have learned the song hidden beneath the surface, who have learned to listen to the currents and the whispers and the silences, we are free. Free to love without condition, free to see without assumption, free to walk in the light of truth that cannot be measured, only felt. Never let your soul be diminished by the shallow gaze of another. Never allow the judgments of the world to define your worth. Your soul carries oceans within it, mountains, stars, and fires that the eye cannot comprehend. Treasure it, protect it, let it expand. And do not be afraid to dive deep into the souls of others, for that is where love, understanding, and wisdom are born. The depth of a soul cannot be weighed by eyes alone. It is hidden, it is powerful, it is eternal. And in that hiddenness lies the truest measure of life, the truest gift of being, the truest call to honor one another with reverence, patience, and love.